What's up, everybody? So this is actually a video I haven't made, but the perfect opportunity came up, and it said something I want to share with everybody. And this is actually my go-to strategy. It's something that's worked out very well for me, and it's something I did for the longest time. And I didn't know anybody else that did it, and then I stumbled across a couple other traders that have something very similar. They're also very successful. So I want to share it with you, whether it changes your trading style, maybe just open your eyes. Take it for however it is. Maybe you want to try it out, maybe you don't. But it's why I'm always breaking stuff down on the 4-hour time frame. It's why I always call them zones. It's something I do, and this is in stocks or forex. This is actually a trade I am still active in. If you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, I actually just shared a screenshot. I believe is actually this move up right here. It just went screaming up, but it started out right here, and so I break everything down. There's 3 time frames. There's and how I personally do it is 4 hours, 4-hour candles, 1 hour, 15 minutes. So I go to the 4-hour time frame. I find my zones. Whether I'm using supply and demand, support and resistance, I'm a price action trader. And I've actually used it. I actually started out with the US dollar down here. This has obviously been, I don't know how else to call it other than a absolute cash cow. This trend is crazy. We'll get into Forex a little bit later. So sticking just to a chart is a chart, candles are candles across the board. So I find my zones, just different consolidation areas. Again, make sure if you watch my live streams, I break them down live for you. Supply and demand, support and resistance. I find areas where it's likely to consolidate or reverse, or just see like an impulsive move out. Anyway, so I do all that on the 4-hour time frame. Now all I'm doing on this 4-hour time frame is just finding these zones right here. So after that, so we go zones, trend, entry. So I'll break it down into the 1 hour. Where are we at? So we know that this is the zone. So if you're looking for this, we have it charted out right here. So we're waiting for it to hit this. We're going to wait for it to bounce. Once it starts bouncing, I kind of see where it's at. If I found these 2 zones and we're right here, then I'm waiting. I want to see where we're going. Are we going to this bottom zone? Are we going to the top zone? I don't like grabbing it in right in the middle. Not a big deal. But I like to grab it closer to one side and ride it to the other side. But I'm looking for the hourly trend. In this case, I'm in it down here. Now I get in this zone. I have a video on my entry types. I buy in these zones all the time. For a beginner, if you want to just ride this, this is it's an easy one to follow. It's an easy one to be successful with. I have these EMAs. I put these on a long time ago for Forex. It's a 15, a 20, and a 50. And I got that from a random video. I kind of liked it. Wasn't bad. So it's just kind of always kept it up there. Just a quick visual. Not the biggest part of the strategy. Find these zones, 4-hour. 1 hour is the trend. So we're seeing it bounce. We don't know if this is a pullback just yet. So if we're seeing just this candle right here, we're seeing a rejection wick. So it actually looks like it's selling off, pulling back, and it might just continue to sell off. But you can see once we broke above these EMAs, we changed the trend on the hourly. We're making higher highs. We're making higher lows. The hourly trend is now higher. And if you actually focus on this area right here, you really don't even need to go to a lower time frame. But if we were just to watch this right here, again, follow along, super simple. 4-hour zones. Hour is your trend, which we are now seeing an uptrend on the hourly. And let's zoom into the 15-minute. This is where we're going to find our best entry. Where did we go? Here we go. So I know what this looks like. One, because I've been in this trade for a while. This was the exact strategy I used. Now I got in down here. I like to call this my type 2 entry. And each of these pullbacks I'm adding on. because we're trending up. We had a nice pullback. We're confirming everything. I do like the crossover, the EMAs here. A lot of people trade that. So anyway, I catch this pullback. I personally add in, if you're a brand new trader and you're new to this strategy, this would be your first entry. Because what we did here, we hit this zone that you already found. Trend on the hourly, it's an uptrend. Higher lows, higher highs. 15 minutes just gave you that pullback, gave you that nice bounce. That's where you grab your entry. And you're just going to ride it out all the way to the next zone. So in between here, I'm trailing it. I'm keeping it pretty loose. I want to give it some room. But when I personally see stuff like this, this wick down, at the time, it was a candle body, shoots back up. I like to move my stops below these big moves because it'll make these pullbacks and push back up anytime it pulls back. And I like it to actually close on top of this 50 EMA. It's just a quick visual. It's nothing I'm panicking about. It's nothing I'm actually worrying about. Once I'm in it, I spend a lot of the time back in the hourly. Again, nothing I'm really worried about. I'm trying to make this as beginner friendly as possible. But every one of these time frames just kind of correlates with each other. Because if you got in down here, you were gambling, you bought in the zone, that was it. If you waited right here, you waited for that trend, you have all the confirmations in the world, look what happens, it shoots up, you're good. You can actually just trail your stop loss with an EMA similar to this 50, and you're good. You made it all the way to this top zone where you take profit or scale out. Now in Forex and stocks, same thing. These zones are still very, very active. And I did this one quite a bit because I've been trading this US CAD more than I think I've traded anything else. Because we got to this zone. Now, I already shorted this zone. Once we got up here and I saw it just instantly come back down, we were not even there. I don't think we even confirmed that one. Yeah, once I saw this, I was already shorting it. Personally, real time, I was shorting this, and I had my trail up. And as soon as we broke this EMA, I actually was I had my stop below here, so it did tag out right here. And then I got in again once it reached that same zone. Again, that's more price action. That is just taking the gamble. I'm entry here. Stop loss is right up here above this wick. And this was another just successful one that came on down. And I took my profit and got right back in because these zones stay relevant for me. Got back in, and again, where are we at? So here we are again. Here's the hourly. We're trending up. This was a very fast trend up. So if you're watching on the 15-minute, yeah, you did your confirmation on that 15-minute. You had to be quick, just because that would have been it. This little sideways action probably tells you if it didn't go down there, it's probably gonna keep going up. That was your just kind of small base. That was your rally base. And if it wasn't going to pull back, it was going to shoot up again, and that's exactly what it did. So had I gotten in here, and I'm looking for my entry on the 15-minute, I could have been patient. I would have gotten in on this EMA. I like for a good entry on the 15-minute. You could have really gotten in here, but you're pretty close to up here. I try to give real examples. Again, this is something I'm actually trading this. I'm still actively in it. But as far as picture perfect goes, this one couldn't get much clearer. This one right here was the example I wanted to show you. It played out absolutely perfect. And it's the one downside to watching videos or reading books is you will see a picture perfect play like this every time. And sometimes it really plays out. This actually was a real trade I took and made plenty of profit on. But I wanted to show you guys some other examples that where it doesn't play out 100%. So if you're patiently waiting for this pullback, you might have already given up quite a bit. It's also, if you're not that experienced, I wouldn't grab it here. If you're going to buy in the zone, you better have your stop losses quick. There's a reason for it. Get out. Not that I'm just telling you to do this strategy, but not do it at the same time. just how can I help the beginners out? If you see this picture perfect pattern, play it. It's going to be an easy one. Oh, another thing, how to get out of the trade. Let's see. That already hit the take profit. Oh, here's where I actually tagged out. So I got in here, shorting it, getting it. We're on the hourly. Okay, we're cruising down, and then we pull back. No big deal. Pull back to normal. But we shoot up. Right here was our first hourly. I mean, here's that first sign. We're trending down. We're trending down. We're good because I'm shorting it, so I want it to go down. A normal pullback. Not even alarmed. Not even worried. Here we go. We're going to start to go down again. We don't. Comes back. Instantly goes green again. The hourly trend is starting to change at that point. We're not full-blown reversal mode just yet. But the second how many points? I always say 4 points. 4 points, you know the trend. So we can grab them here for you. Here is our first low. Our first high. I'm going to have to really zoom in on this one. Let's see. Alright, so here's our low, here's our first high, here is our first lower or higher low. Again, we're shorting this, so we don't want that. And then right here, here's your fourth point, a higher high. At that point, your trend has changed. It's time to get out of the trade. So you lock it in, cut it in, move your trailing stop right here if you want. And yeah, it tagged out. I could have held on. No, I did not know this was going to happen. As for all I knew, it was just going to start cruising up. I didn't want to buy it right here because I didn't know if I was just going to ride it up there. If it was going to head right to that zone, I was going to short it again. But it didn't. Kind of sold back off, so I could have made some more money waiting a little bit. But again, you don't know it. When the hourly trend changes, it's no longer part of that strategy because it's going against you at this point. So again, I waited for getting to the zone. Got in here. That's where I shorted it again. And then, let's see, how would you have traded this? Again, you would have watched it. You would have had your alerts on this zone. You'd have watched it sell off. This next candle would come up, bring it down here. This giant wick probably would have told you that trend just changed. On the 15-minute, you got in right here. Oh, man, where's it going? There we are. So we're shorting it. We're shorting it. But here's where we're finding out the hourly trend is looking like it's headed down. Here was your great entry to short it, and we just didn't touch it ever again until we got to our take profit zone. So again, I don't want to drag it on, just repeating myself. Keep it very simple. 4 hours, your zones. Your hourly is your trend. Your 15 minutes are your entries. So that's where you're going to take profit. That's where you're going to enter the trade in general. And hopefully all of that was clear enough. Hopefully you guys can put that together, maybe even practice it. If it's not a strategy you're used to, just paper trade it for now. Paper trade it, see if it works for you, and then maybe apply it to real time later when you have a good understanding of it. Again, what I just showed you was a picture perfect trade. It doesn't happen that often. It's usually a little bit sloppier than that, but it is still very playable. It's very doable. A lot of times when I say sloppy, your entry is not right above your zone. It pushes up a little bit and then gives you a better entry, or it does this. I don't want you guys to think this strategy sucks because you're doing this. Here's the zone. Here's the hourly trend. Everything's doing good. This comes down, tags you out. And then you get back in. What do? You wait for the hourly. Everything's good. How does that even look? If you're watching this real time, you're panicking right now on these charts. Yeah, so here, you got back in this. Here, here's your hourly trend. It's finally up. You're finally doing good. Wait for that entry. You get in here. It sells off again. This is Forex, so it's manipulated quite a bit more. So you can get shaken out by this. You need to be quick. Again, look how picture perfect. I don't know how many times I've said again in this video. This whole trade, absolutely picture perfect. You could put in a book. This one right here would have been sloppy, and you would just think the strategy sucks. But this stuff does happen. So it's just stuff you got to be mindful of. So don't take this to heart. Don't just go out there and wing it with your whole account. Practice it a little bit, see if it works for you, then you can apply it. But this is honestly my go-to. This is something I did in the beginning, something I was fortunate enough to learn in the beginning, really implement and practice and put it to work. And that's how I've really grown multiple accounts quite a bit. Again, if you have any questions, the private chat I'm in is always the first link in the description, but reach out to me in the comments. I'm reading them all. Find me on Discord. The Tech Buds group is free. You can just download that, join that chat, find me in there. I am an admin. If you have any questions, if there's anything that wasn't clear for you, let me know. I'll clear it up for you right away. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.